how we actually create an asking culture. There's a few things here. Number one is that we need to start from the surplus and not the deficit. And now, this goes back to talking about this idea of maintenance mode, scorched earth, everything's burning down, everything hurts and that I'm dying, I recognize that when we talk about starting from the surplus and not the deficit, I'm risking sounding a little bit like a prosperity gospel preacher there, but I'm telling you, you need to name it and claim it, stab it and grab it, right? The question that I would ask you in this idea of start from the surplus is a question that I think could transform the asking culture in your church. The question is this: if time and people and resources were not a factor, what could your ministry look like? I'll say that again. If time and people and resources were not a factor, what could your ministry look like? You see, a lot of times I think that we think, well, we don't have enough time. I don't have enough time, don't have enough budget, don't have enough people. But when we do that, we're automatically going into the deficit when we need to think about the surplus. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to dream big, just to think about what this could look like if you didn't have any limitations at all, and sit down with a blank sheet of paper and begin to sketch that out, because I believe that that will help you begin to think outside of the little box that you're in, sometimes necessarily in, but it'll help you to understand what could be and maybe what should be. Second way that you build out this asking culture is that you appeal to mission and not to need. Now, I alluded to this a little bit earlier when I was talking to stage announcements, but I want you to recognize that the word need is such a dangerous word to use from the pulpit, from the stage. Because you know this, and I know this, you will never run out of needs, and you will never run out of people who feel guilty about meeting those needs. You've got all kinds of people in your congregation that are sitting there on a Sunday morning and they hear the pastor get up and he makes an announcement that you need more people to watch babies in the nursery, because if we don't get more volunteers in the nursery, we're going to have to throw babies out on the sidewalk, something like that. And there's somebody sitting in the congregation that they're going to feel terrible about it. And they're like, I don't really know what to do with babies. I haven't had a baby since I was a baby, but I don't want to see babies thrown out on the sidewalk. So they get up and they scooch out the pew and they walk up to the nursery, picking up babies on the sidewalk along the way. And they sit down in the nursery and they're holding that baby and they're rocking it. And the whole time they're going, man, I hate this. This is the worst, right? Because they are responding to a need. They are responding out of guilt. What I would encourage you is to eradicate the word need from your vocabulary, especially from your stage vocabulary. Do we need volunteers? Of course we do. But better to talk about the opportunities that are in front of people. Better to talk about the mission that we are on as a church. Better to help people understand that these are areas, that these are things that we want for you. This is not something that we need from you. You need to be able to tie whatever it is that somebody is doing to the bigger picture of your church, to the bigger vision for your ministry. And you might be surprised that where need previously kind of crushed people and sort of tore them down, mission and opportunity awakens them and calls them forward. Number 3, if you're going to build a healthy asking culture, you need to make everybody an asker. And you need to teach the art of shoulder tapping. I borrow that phrase from Tim Stevens and the late Tony Morgan. They talked about this idea of shoulder tapping in their book, Simply Strategic Volunteers. The question that I would ask you is it your job as a staff member, a lay leader, to find new volunteers for your ministry? Yes, 100%. Absolutely, it is your job. But is it your volunteers' job to find volunteers for your volunteer ministry? Yes, absolutely, 100%. It is totally your volunteers' job. It's all of our jobs to build out this asking culture within our churches. But the only way that we do that is we help people understand the art of shoulder tapping. We've got to, as I said earlier, leverage outside of our circles of influence, other people's circles of influence. There are people in our church that will get a yes out of somebody that I will never get out of them because they have the relationship and I don't. And so we need to teach everybody the art of shoulder tapping and the reality. It's your job too. Number 4, we want to realize that new people always reach new people. You've got new people who come into your church, and when you do, you've got new people that are typically excited about your church. But I would caution you, you have a really small window. That could be weeks, that could be a few months. In some very rare cases, that could be a year or two to fully capture that excitement of somebody who is new. My in-laws moved to our area. Now it's been probably a decade ago. And I can remember when they first moved and they started attending one of our campuses. We'd go over for dinner with them, and my father-in-law would say, well, you know so-and-so, you've met so-and-so. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I realized my father-in-law, who is brand new to the church, knew more people at his campus than I did. But what we realized, or what I realized during that time, was he was so excited about the ministries of the church that he had this energy about him that, just to be honest, I no longer had. And so he was the guy that was one of the primary faces and recruiters for our guest services team, because he was so excited about that ministry. He wanted everybody else to be involved in that ministry. What I would encourage you is to instill that ask into people early. And if you can do that, you can often generate a lifetime of asking and a lifetime of shoulder tapping. Then the fifth way that we build out this idea of a healthy asking culture is you want to create easy on-ramps. Now, I would just simply say on-ramp is anything that you utilize to take somebody who's not a volunteer and get them to be a volunteer. Maybe that is a regular orientation that you offer just for people to find out more. Maybe it's your formalized onboarding training that you offer. Maybe it's a big event that you give people a chance to come and serve once for a couple of hours and just dip your feet in the water. Whatever it is that your on-ramp is, I would say you need to create those things that are replicable, that are that people know about, that are easy for people to get access to. You want to be able to help people to figure out how it is that they can just take one baby step and to decide, is this a place for me? And if you can do that, if you can identify your obstacles, if you can begin to build out a healthy asking culture, then I will maybe not guarantee you, but I would strongly suggest that you will be able to figure out this idea of building this ongoing asking culture within your church.